All right, today we're tackling one of the most famous poems in the entire English language, Alfred Tennyson's The Charge of the Light Brigade. We're going to unpack the incredible story of a truly heroic blunder.
At the very heart of this epic poem is this one single devastating line. It's so short, so simple, but man, it carries the entire weight of a military disaster.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. How did this one little line manage to challenge an entire empire? Because this poem, it's not just some patriotic cheer. It is a total masterclass in hidden criticism. So let's dive in and figure out how Tennyson pulled it off, how he honored the soldiers while pointing a massive finger at their commanders.
To really get the poem, you first have to picture the scene. We're at the Battle of Balaclava. It's the Crimean War. The British are actually winning. The Russians are retreating, and a pretty simple order is given. But that right there, that's where everything went horribly, horribly wrong. A catastrophic mix-up, a total miscommunication between the leaders, sent this lightly armored cavalry charging, not at the retreating enemy they were supposed to go after, but straight into the mouth of a valley lined with Russian cannons. It was, literally, a death trap. And this is the number that would become immortal. Around 600 soldiers, the Light Brigade, armed with pretty much just sabers, on horseback, and they still obeyed the order. They charged.
The result was absolute carnage. They were just torn apart by cannon fire. You're looking at over 150 soldiers killed, another 150 injured. More than half of them became casualties on a mission that was pointless, tragic, and completely 100% avoidable.
And what's so wild is that the inspiration for the poem's most famous line came directly from a newspaper report of the battle. It described the event as the victim of some hideous blunder. Those were the words that reached Alfred Tennyson back in England, and he knew he had to write something.
So, you're Tennyson. You've got this military disaster on your hands. How in the world do you turn that into a national epic? Well, he was incredibly clever about it. He chose a very specific way to tell this story to make sure it would never, ever be forgotten.
He wrote it as a ballad, and a ballad is basically a storytelling poem. Think of it like an old-school song that tells an important story. They're designed to be catchy, memorable, and to keep history alive for generations to come. They're built for memory.
And Tennyson uses this powerful refrain, a repeated line all through the poem. Over and over again, he drills it into our heads, the 600. So on the surface, there is no doubt what this poem is. It's a powerful, undeniable tribute to these soldiers and their unbelievable courage.
But, and this is a huge but, this created a very serious problem for Tennyson. See, he wasn't just some random guy writing poems in his attic. He had a very important, very official job. He was the poet laureate. He was appointed by Queen Victoria herself. His whole job was to celebrate the nation, to be a patriotic voice. So, openly criticizing military leadership, yeah, that was not an option. It was a complete non-starter.
So this was his challenge, right? It was like walking a tightrope. He had to praise the incredible bravery of the men who charged, but he also had to, somehow, subtly expose the stupid, careless mistake that sent them to their deaths. So how did he do it?
This is where the true genius kicks in. He did it by embedding secret clues directly into the poem's structure, into its rhythm and its sound. It's like a poetic code, and right now, we're going to crack it.
Now, don't let this fancy term dactylic dimeter throw you. It's just a name for a rhythm that goes da, 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 da. It's a falling rhythm. When you hear it, you can feel the thunder of galloping horses. Or maybe, just maybe, you can hear the sound of soldiers falling. Just listen to the opening lines. Half a league, half a league. You can hear it, right? That driving, relentless da, 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 da. It just pulls you into the charge. That's the main beat of the entire poem. But then, bam, we hit this line. Listen to it again. Someone had blundered. The rhythm just breaks. It stumbles. It feels awkward. It totally breaks the pattern.
And you can see it perfectly here. Half a league has that perfect driving rhythm. But someone had blundered? After that stressed word blundered, the beat just dies. It falters. It forces you to stop and notice that specific word.
Now this is the crucial part. This isn't a mistake by the poet, not a chance. This is a deliberate, brilliant choice. Tennyson uses that broken rhythm like a giant, flashing, poetic spotlight, and he points it right at the word blundered. He makes you feel the awkwardness of the mistake in the very sound of the poem.
And he doesn't even stop there.
He elevates the soldiers by using the Bible. When he calls it the Valley of Death, he's connecting their charge to Psalm 23, making it seem like a near-holy act of courage. He's basically casting these 600 men as David taking on Goliath, underdogs of almost biblical proportions.
So when you put all these pieces together, the broken rhythm, the biblical imagery, the poem's real hidden purpose becomes crystal clear.
This poem is doing two things at the exact same time. On the one hand, it's a huge, stirring tribute to the soldiers who did their duty without a single question. But hiding right beneath the surface, it's a sharp, undeniable criticism of the leaders who failed them. It demands that we remember both, the heroes and the blunder.
And that is why this poem has lasted. It is not a simple celebration of war. No, it's a complex, powerful look at that really messy place where incredible honor and duty meet fatally flawed authority. It perfectly captures both the glory and the tragedy. Which leads all of us with a final, timeless question, one that Tennyson forces us to think about. And it's just as relevant today as it was back in 1854. When does honoring the soldier require us to question the command?